Alright, it is 9:23 a.m. on the Monday, December the 13th, 2021, and I checked with Fidelity. Unfortunately, the money there is still not settled, which means I cannot trade OTCs, and I'm going to stop assuming or guessing when the money is going to be settled so I can finally trade OTCs again. When it happens, it's going to happen. At least I have a paper trading thing here with TD and MediaTrade, and it's ultimately my fault that I wasn't again prepared like a whole week ahead of time before Schwab started charging fees on OTC trading to be ready with a new account anyway. So it's my fault, and when it's ready, it's gonna be ready. Sure, it takes like a long time. I mean, at least with Interactive Brokers, I was able to deposit money in the account, have that money settled, withdraw that money, and then get that money back right before like Fidelity even settles the cash. But while that sucks really badly, things could be a lot worse anyway. I'm gonna be looking at OTCs if there's like a nice morning panic balance play or some kind of uptrending setup. I will trade it on this TD and MediaTrade paper trade thing. I should do that at least, I think. And as for listed stocks, this one is trying to come back BFRI after it had like a run up not too long ago, so it's just gonna be a wash. I mean, maybe there's too many bag holders for this to really do something. I really like this one. I like the way it just had like a multi-day breakout right here over the I guess the 740s or 750s, and I like how it kind of played off of it, where right here it slightly got above it. It didn't really hold it, failed. But then it started to, make an uptrend and kind of hold near the high. So this is actually looking kind of nice. Maybe something that could even do a breakout over the 830, some kind of confirmed breakout, and do something nice from there. But it's just going to be a watch. Of course, I'm much better with LTC setups, but I can't really trade those right now besides a paper trading account. But hey, things could be a lot worse, and let's see if we have any setups today. Okay, it is 9:50 a.m. and in theory I traded PUGE, but I probably would have been out. Had I have traded this with an actual account and everything, I would have probably been break even or just slightly profitable. But there's this thing with TD and MediaTrade, it just doesn't really work properly. Like apparently I was in 3 positions or something crazy like that, but at 9:33 I was interested in the setup when it looked like it was doing like a level 2 reversal, and I would have been in at 42, I believe. And then I tried like doing what I normally do, which is sell in partial positions depending on how it's trading, in pieces, and see how it goes from there. And then I tried one at 9:34 right here to sell, but you see the limits, like TD and MediaTrade just doesn't, maybe this paper trade, TD and MediaTrade doesn't keep track of the actual bid and ask, because when I put a sell the bid order, it just it threw it at 50, which is obviously not trading, so it's not going to actually do anything. And then I tried again, and it just kind of got kind of confusing. And then in theory, why did it say I got out 200,000 shares? Like, what? I thought I only bought 100,000. Did it buy twice when I was only trying to be in it for 100,000 shares, in theory trading a $30 risk level? So the whole thing just got confusing. But in theory I probably would have been out. And then like apparently I short sold this thing or something like that. I sold like an extra 100,000 at 42. I honestly don't really understand what exactly happened. I guess I can't anymore, but I have no clue what happened with that paper trading account. It's just doesn't beat the real thing. And as for the real thing, I did trade BLU and I sold right before the breakout happened. But I'm pretty newbie at trading listed stocks, especially compared to OTCs, but I think I am getting better and I am learning. I was in at 947 right here, and that was in this candle at 837. And what I was thinking was, I really liked the way this one could have done this breakout, which is doing right here actually very nicely. It's about to be, if it can keep uptrending, and maybe it won't, maybe it's going to struggle at the 9s, but it's almost it's like 30 cents away from being $1 from where I entered, right? And again, I was in that 947 right here. So my idea was, okay, I calculated my risk reward. In theory, I was going to do this. I was going to risk this level right here if it didn't work, 770, because this is where VWAP was right before the breakout here, or this nice uptrending price action. So I was going to be in it here. If it breaks below here, I'm going to get out. Worst case scenario, slippage, I'm out at 733, which is the low of this range right here. So I was trading a $4 risk off of that, but why only 2 shares? Because I decided to scale in on my entry, which I actually think was a pretty good idea, because when it was right here, I thought, there's a chance that this thing is going to do the breakout immediately, and I'm just not going to be in the uptrending price action because I'm just, trading this thing too scared, right? So I thought, okay, why don't I just actually get in, because it might also just fail here and downtrend, and maybe put up like a baby higher low some point before it might try to consolidate and uptrend later in the day. So because I didn't want to miss the potential breakout, but at the same time I didn't want to be in right at the top and then it puts up a higher low and I'm in at a bad price, I thought, why don't I just buy 2 shares, which is half of the 4 shares trading off of that $4 risk level. So I went ahead and went 2 shares here, and it was looking like it was trying to break out right then and there. As you can see, the top was 836, right? But there was a new top around 850, and it was really struggling, and I just lost my patience there because I was just kind of scared. But I did sell ultimately at 842, which was right here at 949 right here. So when it kind of broke past it, right, and then it kind of downtrended, before it made this move towards the upside, it opened here and then it started the downtrend, and that looked a bit scary. So I got out at 842. I never actually risked 770 breaking. If I would have done that, probably would have been able to sell in the 9. So I don't know, I think maybe if I'm in like half my position size, I should at least risk my level, so then if something like this happens, I'm actually able to sell for a profit and not miss out because I was too scared of the way it was trying to break out. But I think it's just a great learning process, and yeah, that's the idea there. I made like 10 pennies, which is nothing, but I think I learned a lot. I have no interest in trading PUGE. I might have considered trading CYBL for a morning panic bounce play. I didn't really see it. I was too busy with PUGE, so maybe in theory I wouldn't have traded this one. As for these other ones, yeah, this one has no volume. I'm actually going to remove it. It looks kind of sad. It should have more volume than that. AABB, nothing here I would have traded. This one's no volume. I haven't looked at this one. I don't see anything I would have been interested in trading. This one is nice. This one is uptrending. This one can be a nice, in theory, morning panic bounce play at some point. Especially if it can finish strong today, that would be nice. So yeah, I'll just keep looking at BLU, maybe some kind of uptrending inverse head and shoulders or higher lows playing off of VWAP. That would be cool too, but it's gonna be a watch because it's a bit scary and it might just fade the rest of the day too. But I'm really happy with that trade there and the learning experience, and I'll make an update later and see how this one does. Alright, it is 10:09 a.m. and I want to make an update. I think at this point, had I have still been long this setup and this uptrend, there is a chance this thing can try to do a follow-up breakout and continue further. But again, I'm pretty shaky with listed stocks and they're pretty scary, but I think I am getting better, just learning more from them. And in theory, if this was the case, I would probably be selling, if not completely out by now, because of the amount of time it's taking to consolidate. But sometimes it just does a little consolidation like this, and it just breaks the level again, and it does it for a second time. But I don't know, I just find it a bit scary. But I just wanted to record my thoughts here and I guess make an update and see what this one ultimately does later, if it's going to break towards the highs, or maybe you know, maybe break the levels here, or I could do something where I can just move my risk level maybe to the 870 level right here, and then if it were to have broken that, I would get out, but then I would be in this, so if it were to break towards the upside, then I would be, you know, be able to be a part of that as well. But you know, if it gets back here and it downtrends, at least maybe I didn't sell at the highs, but I was able to be in that possibility where it could have done something else towards the upside. Maybe I could have done something like that, just move my risk level higher. I just don't like how listed stocks can have like a big red candle just flash and, you know, wipe out an entire range it's trading in. But that's what I would think, you know, in terms of this, and let's see what it can do from here. Okay, it is 10:57, and I think I lost like $1.20 or something like that trading the second setup with BLU. That didn't work out, which is fine. It can maybe try to hold VWAP and uptrend. In fact, there's a good chance that it can, but what I was trading is not something that worked out, and that was inverse head and shoulders. Here's a shoulder, here's a head, and then here in theory is a shoulder, and it's going to play, you know, near the highs and maybe do like a follow-up breakout. Ideally, you know, this can be a nice listed stock that can do more than just one breakout over the highs. It kind of did a breakout here, which I was barely a part of, and then, you know, I thought it could try to do something else, but, you know, I was clearly wrong. You know, shoulder, head, and then shoulder. And I thought, okay, well, if I go long this setup, what level would it have to go to where the pattern that I'm interested in just breaks, right? So in theory, I was thinking if it breaks under VWAP, which was around 860, and if it breaks below this wick right here at 860-ish, again, give or take, I would just round it at 860 because it might not be an exact science, especially on listed stocks. You know, it's probably gonna kill the pattern, and it does kill the pattern because this is a shoulder, right? But you know, it goes and makes a lower low. That's not really ideal. So I was in this one, and what really helped me get in this setup was that I scaled into the position very slowly in pieces. As you can tell, I was in at 1044, my first piece, right, which was right here. I was in 2 shares at 902, and then the next minute I was in one more share at 901, and then at what is this level, 1047, I was in the last 2 shares. So I was completely in by 1047 at 904, and then, you know, I actually learned a good lesson here, because this could have actually went really badly, but I did put my first sell order in theory at 908 at 947 because I didn't like the way it was trading anymore, and it was kind of like making this top right here at 912. It wasn't able to like break past to 912. It was struggling very hard. It was like a big wall, and the price action was just not looking that good. So I thought, why don't I just throw in 2 shares and put a sell order at 908? If it kind of makes a move back towards that level, I can get 2 shares sold there. It never got executed there, and what happened was that this order was pending with a 2 share sell order, right? So I sold 2 shares at 894. That was at 1049 right here, when it just looked like this thing was really not looking nice. The price action was looking ugly. I thought, you know, if it gets to my risk level and it breaks it, at least I sold just under half of my position, you know, right here, and not take the full loss. But if it, you know, tries to turn around here and there, okay, maybe I had 2 shares sold at this point. It really stinks, but you know, at least it can make a move towards the upside, and I'm still able to participate in that. So that did not work out because you know, it did break right here, this level right here, which wasn't very nice, and then it looked like it was going to break the 860 level that I was risking at 1051, which was right after this red candle, and I got out. Like, it looked like it was gonna really break it. It didn't actually break it, although it did get to the 850s a few minutes later. So that was the case there. Actually, the same minute it did get to the 850s, but you know, I got out at 862 before it got to the 850s, when it looked like it was gonna break 860. I guess it actually did break it, just not very much. And I thought I was completely out of the position at that point. I thought I had everything, out, but it turns out I wasn't, because I had 2 shares here, pending, right? For a sell at 908. I actually only sold 1 share, so I still had 2 shares left. And then when I found out that was the case at 1054, I thought, all right, I'm gonna get out. I'm not gonna do something dumb and try to hold it, even though it's working in this case. It would have been super bad, had I have had those 2 shares left, and then were to have broken, the 850s, and then it's under VWAP, and it's just looking really bad. And then I go back and find out, oh wait, I'm actually long 2 more shares. So that's a great lesson, just learning stuff like that. And yeah, I'm trading with such small amounts of money, but that's how I want to do it, because I'm not that good with listed stocks, although I think I am getting better. I hope I'm not saying that too many times. And on top of that, if most people who get into trading, they're going to lose money, especially trying something new like the way I am with listed stocks, especially because I can't trade OTCs, and there wasn't really much of an OTC setup besides what I went over in the morning. Why not trade small, since you're probably going to be unprofitable? But you can say now it's going to make an inverse head and shoulder head, and then the shoulder maybe, but I don't really like trading them when it already failed once, because it's very likely, although of course not 100%, that it's going to fail again. And yeah, I'll just keep watching this one. I guess I'm going to be down like $1 today, but I really like the way I traded, except for the fact that I had just 2 shares sitting. But I think that was a good lesson. And I'll see what my percent loss was. I think it's very easy to have bad percent losses on listed stocks compared to OTCs, but I did do 2 shares, and I'm happy that I sold 2 shares at 894 when it looked bad, just to not take a full size loss if it were to have broken my risk level. And then account for slippage, I sell at 830, I believe. I'll make an update. Maybe this thing can ultimately break out now, but the setup I was trading, that one didn't work out, and I traded that one accordingly. Alright, it is 5:06 and I am here to call it off. Overall, I am down today just $1.25 because I trade such a small dollar risk level on listed stocks, because I know that I am not as good as I am with OTCs trading listed stocks. So I had that attempt there with BLU, and I honestly, I was absolutely super close to considering a trade here. But I made that rule a while ago that if an inverse head and shoulders fails, I shouldn't try the next one, because more often than not it doesn't work. And here was the shoulder head, and of course the shoulder ideally was here, but it just downtrended. It failed absolutely, but it did do a nice turnaround, which is totally fine. I don't feel bad about that or anything. It wasn't my setup at all. And then I was tempted here, shoulder, head, and then maybe a shoulder, especially because it has such an aggressive run up right here. But look at how annoying and ugly this downtrend was right here. One blip, and then it went lower, a blip lower than this one, it went even lower, touched the VWAP, it kind of died off from there. But I mean, ultimately, for what this is, the daily chart doesn't look that nice, but as of how it traded today, it's really not that bad. It's pretty close to the highs. And yeah, that was it for that stock. This one is very nice. It's interesting because it's uptrending. This is an OTC, and now it's officially been up 1, 2, 3 days. So tomorrow, if I were to be able to trade OTCs again on Fidelity, this is the type of stock I will be looking for in terms of a morning panic bounce setup. And with that in mind, I did trade PUGE. I was in theory in at 42, and I probably would have sold at 42, maybe 43, maybe a slight profit. But the main thing that got me out of this setup is that this thing was above VWAP already, so it wasn't looking like maybe it was going to continue, because it's above it. It might head under VWAP and do something towards the downside. But yeah, that was ultimately the case with that PUGE. Even if I was able to trade this, I probably would have been slightly profitable or break even on that one. And I probably would have considered tackling AXXA, although I'm not really the best with breakouts and stuff like that, but I am trying to get better with that. getting more experience. I don't mind my little trades here with listed stocks because I learn a lot from it. And yeah, until I see myself being consistently profitable, larger gains than my losses, more gains than losses, I'm just going to stick to that $4 risk level and keep trying to trade better. I should probably, if I'm in half a position like I was in this right here, just risk the level breaking because I'm half my position anyway. And that would have given me a lot more patience to hold, towards this little breakout that it, did do. And it was in favor for a move towards the upside. And then, yeah, I did well on the last trade here, but I should have made sure that I had all of my shares out. Even if it made a nice run up, this wasn't part of the plan. That's all I have for today. Maybe I can be able to trade OTCs tomorrow, but I'm not going to get my hopes up.